The news is brought to you by BTC. For the fastest speed internet, get BTC Fiber. Sign up for a fiber bundle and get a $500 Visa gift card. Visit a retail store to sign up today.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the weekend edition, Bahamas Air launches its inaugural flight to Jamaica. Top fishermen in the country honored for their contributions. In sports, Bahamian basketball icon Jonquel Jones receiving a grand welcome in the capital. The Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition, starts now. Welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. Good evening, I'm Desmond Saunders. Thanks for joining us. A historic day for the national flag carrier. More than 100 passengers boarded Bahamas Air's aircraft for the airline's inaugural flight to Montego Bay, Jamaica. Our Corville Pyfrom was there.
Bahamas Air pulled out the white glove service to welcome these 138 passengers on board this historic flight. Among them, government officials, airline executives, and members of the media. A seamless flight across a picture-perfect sky, topped off by a warm Jamaican welcome at Montego Bay's Sangster International Airport. The Bahamas and Jamaica are roughly 450 miles apart. It takes just a little more than an hour to get there, and so this Bahamas Air's inaugural flight from Nassau to Montego Bay is a paradigm shift. It will help to strengthen the bonds and economies of these two superpowers in the region. And who better to make that point than Mr. Sandals himself, Adam Stewart, who also serves as chairman of the Tourism Linkages Network.
Having this connectivity between these two countries, first and foremost, unlocks the ability between our two economies for locals to do business, to trade, to visit family, friends, for school and education, which has been one of the main thoroughfares for us over the years.
Meanwhile, Immigration and National Insurance Minister Alfred Sears, representing the government, believes this flight is only the start of a great takeoff between the two countries.
This inaugural flight signifies more than just new air connectivity between our two countries. It is a deeper reflection of the strong bond and commonalities between our two sovereign nations, and a mutual commitment to be trendsetters within the Caribbean around a diversified tourism, investment, and aviation sectors.
Bahamas Air officials relieved to make it to the finish line. Managing Director Tracy Cooper says it's been a long road getting here.
This year is just Bahamas Air trying to do its part. We're already flying. I would consider to be the nexus if you look at Cuba and Providenciales and Haiti. And moving on to Jamaica is just the natural next step.
For now, these flights will happen twice per week on Thursdays and Sundays. For now, because officials say they hope to expand that very soon. In Montego Bay, Jamaica, for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Corville Pyfrom.
The Davis administration knocking down opposition criticism about government travel, with the Free Nation Movement brands as unnecessary travel. Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Chester Cooper, asserts that travel is vital to propel the Bahamas on the international stage.
We will continue to busy ourselves to show the value of our travel and the value of our work. Today, Prime Minister Davis is at COP speaking about climate change and climate mitigation and making the case for more funding for the Bahamas on favorable terms. Nation building is serious business, and we're not going to be deterred from the work that we are doing by narrow criticisms for political gain. There's a lot more that we must do over the course of the next 2 years, and we anticipate being very focused on delivering results for the Bahamian people in line with our blueprint for change. That's what we're focused on.
Strong gains for the local economy with the release of the Bahamas National Statistical Institute third quarter 2024 foreign trade figures. The report shows that compared to the same period last year, there was a 31% increase in commodities imported into the Bahamas, which totaled $1.3 billion. As with the second quarter report, the import category, machinery and transport equipment, was the largest contributor to imports, totaling $317 million, representing 24% of all imports. This was followed by the category of mineral fuels, lubricants, and related materials, which accounted for 19% or $248 million. Other categories that contributed significantly to total imports were food and live animals, manufactured goods classified chiefly by materials, and miscellaneous manufactured articles, with a combined total of $540 million, 40% of total imports. A national campaign being launched to educate Bahamians about their consumer rights. Head of the Consumer Protection Commission, Senator Randy Roll, says focus will be given to Family Island residents.
We've had a lot of calls from individuals in the Family Islands. They've been watching, they've been paying close attention to some of the things we're doing. And they're saying, you know, listen, we want to see you in our island. There are some complaints that we have in different islands, and so we are going to work with our sister agency in Consumer Affairs and Price Control, and so we're going to go together. We're putting together a schedule. We're going to go and visit some of the Family Islands.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. There's more after this.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Bahamas Striping Group of Companies.
Some of the nation's top fishermen receiving high honors during the Ministry of Agriculture and Marine Resources inaugural Anchor Awards Gala at the Bahama Convention Center. The black tie event acknowledging the dedication of fishermen whose hard work and passion sustain our vital maritime heritage. Minister of Agriculture and Marine Resources, Honorable Jomo Campbell, says the anglers are the unsung heroes of communities around the world.
Seafood accounts for $90 million every year in exports. And so, you know, this goes a long way because our fishermen, those who brave those rough waters, they're the ones that go out and bring in all that group of our boiled fish, our stew fish, our fried snapper, steamed snapper every Easter. You know, so they're an integral part of our society. And for us to highlight them and what they do, I think it speaks volumes because they're the ones out there that actually practice the safe fishing methods to ensure the existence of this industry for future generations.
Honorees receiving thousands of dollars in cash prizes. Omiko Glinton received the Sports Fisher of the Year. Commercial Fisher of the Year went to Emil Knowles. Lofton Culmer honored with the Minister's Choice Award. Keith Carroll received the Lifetime Achievement Honors. Fishermen elated over their achievements.
Young fisherman and captain and business owner in the industry, I feel honored and hope I am able to inspire more young Bahamian men in the Bahamas to get into the industry, because I find it few in my age. I mean, there are some, but it could be more.
It's an honor to be awarded for this event. You know, I've been guiding 18 years now, and it's a pleasure just to be here and be a part of this event.
A major milestone for a leading financial institution in the country, the Bahamas Development Bank commemorating its 50th anniversary with a grand ceremony at its headquarters on Robinson Road. Key stakeholders and business leaders honoring the bank's contribution towards the social and economic development of the nation. Minister of Education, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin, reflected on the bank's impact.
Over the years, the BDB has held fast to its mission of stimulating, facilitating, and advancing the Bahamian economy. The concept of the Bahamas having its very own development bank was birthed from the notion that Bahamian innovators and entrepreneurs needed and deserved to have access to capital to fund their dreams and move this country forward. Our people deserve the same access as everyone else, and BDB exists to step in the gap to give Bahamians that much-needed support on their way to business success. The bank has pursued this remit in tandem with a keen attention to social development and sustainability, two vital ingredients for our collective well-being.
Optimistic about the bank's next 50 years, its chair vowed to the upliftment of one industry, one community at a time.
As chairman, my vision for the future of the Bahamas Development Bank is one of purpose, inclusivity, and transformation. We will continue to pioneer new approaches to economic development, to push the boundaries of what's possible, and to ensure that all Bahamians have access to the resources they need to realize their full potential. Together, with our board, staff, and partners, we will lead the Bahamas Development Bank into the future as a force for positive change, for innovation, and for growth.
Local artist Cheryl Edwards edged out some 49 competitors to win the Bahamas Bureau of Standard and Quality National Trademark Competition. A winning design highlighting the national colors and conch shell will be featured on all registered and manufactured Bahamian products.
Gives me a sense of Bahamian pride, and I would hope that my daughters would look at me and say, my mother did it, and I'm going to be able to do it. That my mother has shown her pride in her country, and now she is not only nationally recognized, but she's internationally recognized. My creation was made based on the heart of the Bahamian and the biodiversity in the Bahamas. And so when we talk about now and our future, for us, once we maintain
Executive Director of the Bahamas Bureau of Standards and Quality, Dr. Renee Ferguson-Buford, and contest organizer Carlette DeVoe says the new trademark will be a memorable brand Bahamians will be proud of.
It's been well over a year, but we have been thinking about this for the last 2 years, and so we have been working with our industry partners from the region and internationally to ensure that we are following best practices and aligning ourselves with regional practices and industry standards.
Cheryl Edwards won. Her design was a circular design with a conch shell in the middle, and yes, we all Bahamians and we all love conch. But what made her design different was that she integrated the Bahamian colors into her conch shell design. We wanted it to be original. We wanted it to be to depict the Bahamian culture and our values. And we wanted it to be creative and also able to adapt on all forms of media. We wanted to be able to adapt on a pen, on a jacket, on social media. And I think this design that won was able to do all of that.
Your weekend sports up next.
Welcome to your Sunday Sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles, topping sports. Bahamian basketball superstar Jonquil Jones arriving in the capital last night after spending the past 2 days in her hometown of Grand Bahama as they hosted a motorcade. Jones also making a visit to her former primary school. Jones set to host a clinic here in the capital tomorrow and a Jonquil Rush Out to be held in honor of Jones's feat. Of course, she would lead the Liberty to their first WNBA championship. She take home MVP honors in the process. To the Diamond, the Bahamas Softball Federation Nationals underway at the Bankers playing field. Organizers speaking about the importance of the tournament in regaining some momentum for the sport.
Well, softball competition has been good. We're trying to make sure that sport comes back alive and that we have made it possible for teams who wanted to play, particularly from the Family Islands and with the teams in Nassau, to play and to have the competition that's needed to build the momentum back for softball. And I think that's important. It's an ongoing process. And the Bahamas Softball Federation is committed to developing the sport of softball and promoting it. And hopefully we will start some junior programs to be able to build the youth and encourage boys and girls to play softball more.
You see it behind me. We have to have a mass implementation of young persons into the sport, which we can see. So we have quite a number of young people here in New Providence. We have them in Grand Bahama. Abaco has picked up. Andres is picking up. So a lot of Long Island is picking up. Eleuthera is picking up. So we are seeing tremendous growth from the sport, from the youth, which it's key for the growth and development of the sport.
Several regional track administrators in town is NACAC hosting a gender leadership conference over at Comfort Suites. designed to bridge the gender gap in the sport of track and field. We caught up with NACAC President Mike Sands as well as some of the participants.
Extremely well. It's intense, it's packed and filled with information, but it's all good in preparing you for our leadership roles in our various organizations, whether it's locally, regionally, or internationally.
I think this is a wonderful experience. I'm the General Secretary of my member federation, the Grenada Athletic Association, but I'm also a permanent secretary within the government sector. And this workshop is timely. It gives us the tools that are necessary to develop good leaders, and it's gender related, so it focuses heavily on women leader and women leadership. So it's very, very significant and critical.
Gender equality doesn't just refer to females, but at the end of the day, we recognize that the females are the minority in our sport in terms of administration and leadership capacity. And so we've took the bold initiative with the support, and I dare say the mandate of World Athletics, to ensure that we create the pathway for gender equality, and gender equality focusing on the females to develop confidence in themselves that they can aspire to become leaders in our sport.
And in esports, the Bahamas Esports Federation Group Gameheads holding a major event this past weekend in Fusion Superplex. Gamers turning out for Inferno, a Street Fighter tournament with a $5,000 cash prize. Gameheads president, Andre Munker.
Competition has been heating up. There's been a ton of talent that we found, even hidden gems within the community itself, of people who've never been to a tournament before, and they're destroying everybody within the gaming sphere. So we're very excited to see, all of the players come out and participate in this tournament itself, and hoping to get more as we progress.
Let's look at your sports on this Sunday. I'll check on weather when we return.
Time now for a check on tonight's weather forecast. Chief Meteorologist Basil Dane joins us with the latest temperatures. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Desmond. We have mostly cloudy skies, temperature 80 degrees, the relative humidity on the dry side at 47%, northeast winds at 11 miles per hour, the barometric pressure 1,018.0 millibars, that is 30.06 inches, and the pressure has become steady. Temperatures around the islands this evening, 77s in Marshall, Babaco, Green Tool Key, and in Freeport, Grand Bahama, the Berry Islands at 78, Sound, Bimini, and Harbour Island also reporting 77 degrees, 80 in Roxanne, Eleuthera, Fresh Creek, Central Andros at 78, 78 again in Kemp Space, South Andros, Black Point, Exuma, Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rumkey, 77. Picking up 79 degrees in Georgetown, Exuma, some 80s in Ragged Island, Clarence Sound, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, McWanda, 79. Acklands at 79. Matthew Town, inaugural, warmer at 82 degrees. And the Turks and Caicos Islands, 81 degrees. And your boating forecast tonight through Monday, we're going to have an easterly flow, 10 to 15 knots, the wave heights 2 to 4 feet. Your high tide that will occur at 8:45 this evening, another high tide at 9:16 tomorrow morning. Now for the central and southeastern islands through Monday, northeast winds 10 to 15 knots, and the wave heights 2 to 4 feet over the ocean. And in the tropics, we continue to look at Sarah. Well, it's now just a tropical low, and it's continued to move rather slowly towards the west-northwest. A more northwest component is expected later on today, and this will become just an open trough across the Yucatan Peninsula. And across the Bahamas, we have some low-level clouds as a result of those east to northeasterly flow over relatively warm waters, and that's generating some stratiform type clouds. Tonight, we are looking at breezy conditions, otherwise simply partly cloudy, with a low temperature of 72 degrees. And tomorrow, it's going to be lots of sunshine in the forecast, 79 degrees for your high temperature, and extended weather forecast for the next 7 days. The weather's going to be quite nice right through the weekend. Those temperatures going to be in the 80s, low 80s, and then we'll start to get some 70s during the daytime, and that's because there's another frontal system that will come through on Thursday afternoon, and that will usher in a nice cool down where we'll see temperatures in the low 60s. Desmond.
And that ends the Bahamas Tonight, the weekend edition. We thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. On behalf of the entire team, thanks for watching. Have a good night.